Amina and Musa were a married couple blessed with 4 beautiful daughters, Fatima, Zainab, Maryam, and Halima. For years, their home was filled with laughter, love, and joy. But as time went by, everything began to change. Musa started listening to people's whispers. A man without a son has no heir. A woman who only gives birth to girls brings no value to her husband. Those words poisoned his heart. Slowly, he began to treat Amina differently, with distance, silence, and eventually, rejection. One day, he came home with shocking news. He told Amina he had taken another woman because he wanted a son. Amina's world fell apart. She was left behind, heartbroken, with her 4 little girls, but she refused to give up. From that day, Amina became both mother and father to her children. She worked endlessly, selling charcoal, bananas, and used clothes, anything that could feed and clothe her girls. They lived near Musa's mother, who never liked Amina. The old woman often mocked her, shouting, "Get out of this house. It belongs to my son, not you." Amina endured the pain in silence for years, until one dark day when her mother-in-law arrived with men carrying hammers and sticks. They began to knock down the house while Amina and her children were still inside. Terrified and heartbroken, Amina gathered her daughters and left the house with nothing but their few clothes and faith in God. With the little money she had, she rented a small 1-bedroom house, and that became their new home. It wasn't much, but it was filled with peace, love, and hope. Through hardship and sleepless nights, Amina worked hard. Years passed, and her daughters grew into brilliant, hardworking young women. All 4 of them graduated from school, found good jobs, and decided to build their mother a beautiful house, a reward for her sacrifice and love. Then came the time for 2 of her daughters to get married. When Musa heard about it, he returned. He stood before Amina and said proudly, "These are my children. Their wedding should take place in my house." Before Amina could say a word, her daughters looked him straight in the eye and said, "You left us when we were small. You said you don't give birth to girls. Now that we are grown, you want to claim us. You didn't sow, so you cannot reap." Musa was shocked. He turned to Amina angrily and said, "You've spoiled these girls. How can they talk to their father like that?" But Amina replied calmly, "These children are adults now. They have their own minds. Even if I tell them to hold their weddings in your house, they won't do it. They know who stood by them." Musa left in silence, filled with regret and shame. The weddings were later held in Amina's new home, surrounded by joy, laughter, and blessings. Their uncle, the only man who stood by Amina during her struggles, proudly gave them away as their father figure. Years later, Amina sat on her veranda watching her daughters and grandchildren play, her heart full of peace and gratitude. Moral of the story: a mother's love is the purest strength in the world. You cannot abandon your family and expect to share in the blessings you never helped build. Question to viewers: was it fair for the daughters to refuse their father's request, or should they have forgiven him for the sake of peace?